Go!
Hello and welcome to the Game Brew Podcast, episode 73, the bi-weekly video game podcast where we sip beers, chat about games, and sing poorly. I am your host, Ian Tenderheart Richard, and today I'm joined by Will Grumpy Bear Shell. Chris Braveheart Wright.
Freedom!
Dan Funshine Rots.
Care Bear Stare!
And Allison Brightheart Vandevender.
Oh my stars, you brought visitors. What are they doing here?
On the first half of today's show, we'll wonder what modern games we'd like to see demastered, and on the second half, we'll imagine games that never were. But first, it's time for a beer. Chris, what are we drinking this week?
Beers with weird shit in them. Well, sort of. So this basically started off as a request to have like an alchemy type beer. So I went out and talked to my buddy who was going up north to get a really good beer called Heady Topper from the Alchemist, which I can't get in Maryland. So he doesn't and goes and gets that. And it's, by the way, on Beer Advocate, is the #1 ranked New England IPA.
Oh, snap.
Wow. But then the rest of us could not find beers that directly related to alchemy. Like, if you're into beer branding, if you're trying to open up a new microbrewery, make a beer with the word alchemy in it, just so we can use it on podcasts. Like,
But don't-
please.
That would be great.
But don't get sued by the people that make Heady Topper.
And also, ship it countrywide. That's important.
That would be good, too. That'd be good, too.
But what's really, I mean, this beer is really good. Obviously, I mean, it's in the top 5 beers on Beer Advocate.
Yeah,
So
and
what's interesting about it, though, is that it says drink from the can. It's very insistent that you drink from the can.
you must drink
You
this
must
from the
Yeah.
can.
drink from
Which
it.
I've never seen
Wow.
before.
You gotta get that
Right across the top.
metallic
Bold.
taste in there.
Yeah.
I wonder
So
if
they
that's
knew.
because something about the carbonation will, like, go flat.
No,
Although,
so
I don't
it's
know that that would matter.
they say why do I recommend that you drink it from the can? Quite simply to ensure a delightful hop experience. The act of pouring it into a glass smells nice, but it releases the essential hop aromas that we have worked so hard to put in.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting. So the rest of us,
Smells.
because we couldn't find the Alchemist brewing stuff, we decided to drink beers that are like random combinations of things, like we're doing alchemy with our beers, trying to, kind of build things up into something else.
Different ingredients. We're turning beer into gold. We're
Yes.
turning gold into beer. Actually, you know what? Paying for beer is kind of alchemy itself, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is
Paying
true.
for anything is really alchemy, isn't it?
So I'm drinking from so I'm drinking something from Commonwealth Brewing Company. It's in Virginia, I believe.
That would make sense.
Yeah, it's in Virginia Beach. Late Start Brewing is what it's called, and it's called Botanicalia. It's a Berliner style ale with sudachi, calamansi, apricot, lime, ginger, juniper, coriander, angelica, and cassia.
What is even going
Why would they
on
put
here?
Angelica in there? What did she do to
Dude,
deserve
it's
that?
I don't like Berliners. This is good.
The description of ingredients in that beer is like the beginning of Mambo number 5.
A little bit of calamansi in my beer.
Right?
A little bit of sudaki over here. A little bit of apricot's what I need. Some lime and then some ginger just for me.
That's so good. I'm so impressed right now that you just did that.
But it's really good. It's like I can taste like the floweriness of it. Like it's very like earthy and greeny, but it's still that sour Berliner sort of beer. It's nice.
You can taste the flowers.
Cool story, Dan. Okay, my beer is called horchata, like horchata, but it's spelled O-R space X-A-T-A for some strange reason. So
What is horchata?
horchata is like this this Mexican
And why do you think I know what it is?
this Mexican like rice-based drink with cinnamon and sort of like sweet. It's kind
So
of like
Mexican sake.
no, there's no alcohol. Well, there doesn't have to be any alcohol involved with it.
Yeah.
But it's like a sweet
Okay.
cinnamony
Interesting.
rice drink. And so this
Mm.
is an American golden ale with rice and lactose, natural cinnamon, and vanilla flavors. And
I'm sorry, did you say
Weird.
lactose?
to make it like
Why?
creamy and like milky,
Oh.
even though it's
That's
a
why
blonde ale.
milk stouts have that.
It's kind of like it's kind of trying to be something that I don't know that it's a good idea for beer to try to be. Like, I just don't think this drink.
Like an airline pilot.
Yeah, like beers should not try to be airline pilots. They should also not try to be horchata, it turns out. Because it just doesn't make sense. Like, I want an American... This would actually be good if it were like a milk stout that they made into like an horchata type beverage. But the fact that it's an ale makes it weird.
So it's trying to like fuse like two different sides of the beer spectrum here, and you're saying it would be better if it just picked one or the other.
Yeah, it's like if a pale ale was trying to be a coffee.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense, right?
Is this kind of like if orange juice tried to be chocolate milk for people
Yes.
like me who don't like fully? Okay, good.
Orange and
Yeah.
things in their chocolate. Yeah.
Got it, yeah.
Will, what are you
Okay.
drinking?
I don't want to say because you're gonna get mad at me.
No,
Is it
Jesus.
fucking Bud Light
Are
Platinum?
you drinking
No.
like chocolate milk?
No, you're gonna.
And oranges?
Okay, well, I threw an audible because the only beer I could find that was like alchemy and whatnot and had like weird stuff in it had coffee in it, and I didn't want coffee late at night. So I'm gonna give you a few guesses before you yell at me and make a fun game out of this, and see if you can guess what I'm drinking. It has a sweet malt flavor.
Magic Hat number 9.
Yeungling.
It has been brewed since 2001. It has
Sweet baby Jesus.
It has Cascade and cluster hops. It pairs
Cascade?
great with grilled food, fried
Coors
food,
Light.
and cheese.
Miller Lite.
It's from 2001. They've been making it a little longer than that.
And
Yeah,
it
but
goes
I wondered
great.
about, like,
It goes great with M&M's.
Yeungling. I already said Yeungling.
Light Yingling.
God damn it.
Ooh,
I
Yeungling
didn't
Light.
want coffee. I didn't want coffee on a Sunday night.
Participate in the podcast, Will. Participate. That's all we're asking. Participate.
What if I put chocolate milk in it?
Go.
If you go put chocolate milk in your beer, all will be forgiven.
Yeah,
I will
go.
totally-
I'm pretty
but you
sure
have to
you
drink
need
it.
to go take that beer back to the kitchen. Just close your eyes and grab 3 spices from the spice rack. Put them in, shake it up, and come back. We'll be fine.
We'll try this for the second
This
half.
is like truth or dare. Let's go.
So there is a Yingling ice cream.
I would eat that.
What?
I would 100% eat
Okay.
that. With a brownie?
All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
No. Like, it's ice cream.
Flavored
It-
like Yingling.
No. It's not that.
Oh.
It's just, I don't
Ice
know
cream.
if it's
Ice-
related at all or not, but
To ice cream or
Alright.
to Yingling?
Yingling
Oh.
ice cream.
I'll have to look at that. Yingling's
You-
ice cream. That seems like
Heard
a
it here
different brand.
first,
That's
folks.
just
it is.
different.
But I was always very confused by it.
Okay.
I see. It's a company that
Ale-
makes ice cream.
Gotcha. Allison, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a mixed drink called the Alchemist.
Mm.
And it's a recipe from Absolute Vodka's website, actually. I found a different one I liked better, but the alcohol that was in it was way too complicated for me to find. So
Too fancy.
Too fancy. So I went with this one. And it's muddled cucumber, lime, simple syrup, Absolute vodka, soda water, and a little salt over ice.
That sounds
And-
good. That sounds great.
Oh, it's so good.
Sounds refreshing as fuck.
Yeah.
We're going to get a fun Allison in the second half.
We are. Here's the thing. I made
Allison.
enough to have 2 of these, and I don't think I should have a second because I want to chug it, and that's problematic.
don't
Chug
don't
it,
chug it,
chug
but
it.
No,
do
I'm
have
not.
2.
But it's like really,
gotta
really
pace
good.
yourself.
It's super drinkable, and I don't know if I like that.
It
That's
sounds like it would be a
dangerous.
great summer drink.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love this. It's like super refreshing and very. I know it's not actually hydrating, but it feels like it's hydrating
Feels
Right.
like it's hydrating.
Right. Like
me.
that's a great beach drink.
for sure.
Yes.
So that's mine. It's awesome. I highly suggest it. I'll post the recipe up later for everyone
Nice.
in our
Huh.
Discord.
Awesome.
That ice cream is related to Yingling, actually.
Oh. Well,
Chris
let's move on, and we'll
still
talk about
doing-
that later.
Come back,
Oh my
please.
Sorry.
It's gonna
I,
be like
I got stuck in a
3 or 4 minutes from now. Chris is gonna be like, "God damn it, Bigfoot is real. I've done the research."
Sorry.
Speaking of Bigfoot and other scary creatures,
Masterful.
Dan, what have you been
Masterful.
playing this week?
I've been playing a few things. I finished a few things, so I actually have a triple bwap 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 bwap.
Whap, 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 whap.
Oh God, help!
But so I finished because I played Devil May Cry 5. I kind of wanted to go back and play the first one, so I just blasted through Devil May Cry, like the first game.
That game was
for
so good. I
PlayStation.
remember thinking how big of a badass Dante was when he rides through like a wall with a motorcycle or something in the beginning of that game.
Is that where you found your love for motorcycles?
Right there, I was like, I want to ride
Very
through
fun for
walls.
motorcycles. And then I also, it's Devil May Cry. I'm not going to talk a lot more about that because we talked about it on the Dan and Chris show. But I did also play the Batman Telltale game, which was pretty good. It's a shame that Telltale doesn't have support because the company closed. So like there were a lot of missing textures and stuff.
Oh, that's so sad.
Aw.
But the one I really want to talk about is one that I spent a lot of time playing, which is Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Ooh,
Yeah,
this is the one where she gets real murdery, right?
She was real murdery in the one before this, but this one kind of it's a better character. Like the story's better than the second one, like Rise of the Tomb Raider, and it kind of humanizes Lara's character a little bit more. Instead of just being just a Tomb Raider, it kind of explores her background as like her history,
Like as
and
a
her
person?
family's history. Yes,
Oh,
this is
interesting.
actually on the list of games that had a moment that made me tear up a little bit.
Oh, what's the dynamic there?
Bec-
Like, what's the big question?
I don't. It's kind of a spoiler, so
Ooh,
spoilers. But no, it's not. Actually, it's not really a spoiler.
Like, is it between her and her dad, or her and her sister?
No, it's between her. There's one point in the game where she thinks that someone is dead, and then that someone comes back.
Oh.
Or like she sees them alive, and she has a very human reaction to it, and it's like really touching and like moving and stuff like that. And it was very interesting. But it was good. It was really fun. It has all of the things that make you want to find all the stuff. Like it's like the most recent Tomb Raider games, there's a lot of like extra tombs that you can go do and like challenge tombs and stuff, like lots of collectibles to collect.
Yeah.
I will say that in order of the new Tomb Raider games, I would go, the top one is still like Tomb Raider, like the remaster.
The original remaster.
And then this one would be just below that, and then the Rise of the Tomb Raider is third.
That's cool. I think they did a good job with the new reiteration.
Yeah.
Excited to see what the next iteration looks like. Cool. Will, did you have like a guitar over there when the podcast started?
Yeah.
Oh, was that for games or guitar?
Yeah, it is. It's both. Both, actually. So Clara wanted to learn how to play piano. So I was like, okay, she's in single digits. What can I do to teach her? And because I can only go so far with that, because I can play like basic like block chords on piano.
Why didn't you just tell her to play a real instrument like tuba?
I mean, she's like a third of the size of the tuba for now. So start small. She's going to be a smart tubist. She's going to know like treble clef before she goes and plays in the brass band. So it's going to be
like Ian.
Yeah, like Ian. She's going to be like Ian. Multifaceted tubist. In any case, so I started doing some research. I was like, well, I could get her a book. But she really likes interactive things. And I did a little research, and I ran across Musician, which is a super popular app. And Musician, you can subscribe to. They've got piano, guitar, ukulele, bass, something else on there. I forget, maybe mandolin, maybe. And she started doing that. And it's, from a music educator's perspective, they've actually done a really good job, like stair-stepping concepts. It's not so big on the theoretical concepts, but it's pretty simple on it's it dives into the, hey, let's just get playing, let's get you moving around the keyboard. So I picked up my old guitar and my dad's old guitars that I've had since I was like 12 or 13 and haven't really played since. It's like, let's see if I can learn some guitar. And that's what I've been doing for the past week. And it works really, really, really well. It doesn't overwhelm you. You've got a lot of cool features. You can slow stuff down, speed stuff up. You can go like hyper speed beyond 100% normal tempo. And it's the gamifying of learning to play an instrument is really, really fun. I do have Pokemon fever with it. You get stars to clear things, and I want the gold stars. I don't want the silver stars. I want the gold stars because the gold stars means you don't miss anything. And I want the silver. Or I don't want the silver stars. I want the gold stars.
Gold.
So it's gamified in that there's like star rankings, but is it gamified in like does the act of playing the instrument trigger the computer in some unique way, or is it just kind of like tracking notes that you play and saying what?
It's just tracking notes. It's literally Guitar Hero, but tablature and an actual instrument in your
very
hand.
much like Rocksmith.
Yes.
Yeah, very much like Rocksmith, except I believe Rocksmith is still vertical. This is horizontal. It scrolls across the screen from right to left.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And but yeah, it's really good. It's really, really fun. And there's a social aspect of it too. I hooked it into my Facebook. I was like, who else has had this game? And a surprising amount of my friends have downloaded this and messed around with some different instruments. Some quite far. So that was neat.
Is it a thing you have to pay for over time?
It is.
Or
It's
like
a subscription. You get a free trial for a week, I think it is. And if you want to pay for it, you can do $30 a month. But if you're willing to go all in and pay for a year, you know, that common thing that's going with subscription apps, you get like a massive discount. It's literally half price if you'll pay for a whole year. So it's $180 if you'll do it for the year. So I just paid for a month and threw $30 at it, see if we like it. And it's really cool. I'll say I'm actually learning my way around the instrument and developing facility. So it's not so good about deeper theoretical concepts, but it's also meant for somebody who's brand new. And somebody who's brand new, I don't think if somebody out there wants to pick up an instrument and learn, I think this is great for it. You don't necessarily want to sit down and learn whole steps and half steps and how to construct your major and minor scale. You want to get playing on the instrument and you want to have fun doing.
Allison, what about
that's
you?
awesome.
I'm playing Siberia on the Switch. That's
Siberia, Siberia?
Yeah.
Siberia.
And what I forget what this game is.
In Siberia, Switch play you.
It's a game that actually came out in 2002, and I played it back then on PlayStation 2. And they put it on the Switch, the first and the second game. The second game didn't come out until 2017, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, big gap. I didn't even know there was a second one, actually. So I grabbed this because I kind of had nostalgia about the game, but I know I never finished it. And I couldn't remember why. And now I realize it's because this game is a flaming pile of shit.
Oops.
I had
do you know if it's just the Switch version or if it's just the game in general?
I think this is just the game in general, and I can't really figure it out
Interesting.
because this was so long ago when I played. I was like 13. So I don't really remember, but I know I dropped the game and then never came back to it. And there's just a lot of poorly designed levels because this is kind of like Myst. And you're just point and clicking around and you're grabbing items to solve puzzles. And there's only one way to solve the puzzle. And the way I'm thinking you should solve this isn't the way necessarily they want you to.
Sure.
So like there'll be times where the map locks me into an area and I can't move forward for hours and hours. And I'm just wandering aimlessly to find out there was a door in the bottom corner of the map I couldn't see.
Ugh,
And that's where I was supposed to go. Or there was an item on the floor that's supposed to be a bright red handle. And boy, it's a nothing. It's an absolute nothing. And I've been wandering around pages and pages of this map, just trying to figure out what I do next to find out the item was on the floor in a corner.
Allison, do you feel like using guides in these kind of games is like a cheat, or will you do it sometimes?
Totally. I had to. That's the only way I found these things out. And that's the thing. Like back when I was 13, those weren't readily available. Like, it wasn't easy for me to get those because my internet was terrible and I had to like beg my mom to give me time because it tied up the phone and things like that.
Then you had to print them out.
And you had to print them out or just like keep logging in and waiting for it to come next. And so I know back then I must have given up because these things, I just couldn't figure it out myself. And now I'm looking them up. And even with the guides, like I can't tell if the game is glitching or if it's the way it was ported to the Switch, but like some of the stuff just isn't right. Like there was a guy I was supposed to speak with to move forward that disappeared off the map because I pulled a lever. And I walked around aimlessly, knowing I should probably talk to this guy. Like I knew that was the next step, could not find him. And somebody on a forum also had this and couldn't figure out what to do and figured out he had to go back and unpull a lever. And it's like, how is that a game mechanic that was meant to happen? So yeah. It's pretty. I love the steampunky vibe of it, but yeah, kind of a terrible game.
That's interesting because it has like very positive reviews on Steam. So
yeah, I want to love it. I don't know.
But you can't.
So I've been playing a little bit of this game called Everspace. Have you guys heard of this game?
Yes.
No.
So this is it's kind of like if you smashed Elite Dangerous and The Binding of Isaac together. So it's a roguelike, or roguelite to be more specific,
Yes.
space fighter, where you like spawn into this new small orbit, and there's like 4 to 6 different pods of things to do. So there's like a bunch of asteroids over here, and a little space station over here, and some like fighting going on over here, and you kind of like explore each one. But it's first-person cockpit controls, like Elite Dangerous.
Neat.
Cool.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like it's got a kind of like an arcadey style that's good for it. Like it keeps the action is always really fast. It's not like Elite where you're kind of like floating around for no reason. It's just like here's a thing, here's a thing, here's a thing, here's a thing. And they did a good job with the progression series of the rogueliteness. Like the power-ups feel meaningful, and you can unlock new ships, which is cool. And like new item blueprints are kind of random drops, so there's always things to find. And there's a nice little story arc that kind of like glues your first nice long run through together. So nothing to complain about, and it's totally free if you have Xbox Live Gold games or whatever.
Sweet.
Xbox games with gold or the Ultimate Game Pass or Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is their new thing.
It's free.
or
on all
if you like torrenting games, it's free.
Yeah, or that.
But don't do that.
No, but
don't do
cool
that.
is, so I have
Don't do
Xbox Live with Gold, but I'm not even using my Xbox. I'm playing this game on PC too.
You're gonna have to switch to Ultimate soon because they're gonna take that.
They're gonna turn
they're
that
gonna
off.
Separate. Yeah, they're gonna separate.
No.
They're gonna like
Yep.
take everything.
That's how they
Wait,
get you.
wait. Oh.
Yeah, but I digress.
That's shitty. Okay, we'll yell at them next episode.
Chris,
Yeah.
are you playing games?
I do play games. I
Chris
have been
plays
known to
all
play
the
a game.
games.
What games you play?
Recently, I've been playing a lot. So, Katie for Christmas got me a arcade cabinet that I had to put together, which was 8 hours of fun.
Fun.
That's awesome.
No, I mean it is really awesome, and I can post a picture of it. But I've like been kind of tinkering. So half the fun with it is tinkering with it and like trying to figure out how I can make games work on it and adding more games to it, and kind of being like when I'm playing on it a little bit, and I'm like, I gotta add cup holders. So I've been like kind of doing that, but also I have been playing some games, mostly just beat 'em ups right now. So I finished. Here's a couple wows real quick. But they're short, they're little short ones. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time.
Yes.
The X-Men beat 'em up. And recently, Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon, which I found out was a beat 'em up. And Katie wanted to play that, so we played that together yesterday.
Nice.
And it was
That's so
it was like
good.
an hour and a half, but it was, I don't know, it was pretty fun. My least favorite was Turtles in Time, which because you could really only do either smash or jump, and that was it.
Right.
Whereas
Yeah,
like with
that was-
X-Men, you could use your X-Men power. Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon, you could use your magical girl power. And then there was also I haven't beaten it yet, but I found out there was a Punisher beat 'em up.
Oh,
Ooh.
And it's really good. You can pick up guns and weapons and stuff, and if you have 2 players, Nick Fury's with you.
yes.
And-
Snap.
Sweet.
I'd be
And like you
interested
can
to see
jump
that.
up and throw down
really
a grenade, and it's really good. It's one of the best beat 'em ups I've played. But if anyone listening out there has any recommendations for games I should play on my arcade machine, let me know, because I'm always looking out for them. Would love to do some more beat 'em ups. So
That's
You should
really
post
cool.
those in the Discord at bit.ly/discobrew.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like that keeps it fresh, and you don't like just play your cabinet and beat whatever game's on it, and then suddenly it's a clothes rack.
Nice.
yeah, no, it's constantly being
I like
changed
that.
too.
That's
It's
cool.
it's a lot of fun.
That is very nice, and actually a good segue into our first section, because Chris has sort of this retro gaming console that he uses for older things, which is really cool. So one of our listeners got to thinking along that same vein, if we could choose a game to demaster, which game would we choose? And we just thought that was an awesome question. So thanks to Combaticus in our Discord for dropping that question. That was awesome. So what do you guys think? What's a great game for a demaster?
Well, actually, do
So
you want to explain what
can you explain what you
demastering
mean?
Oh,
means?
sure, yeah. So imagine like a modern video game, except imagining how they would have done it if the technology they had was like an SNES or an NES. What would it look like? How would it feel? Or even a computer game of that same era.
So, for an example, the example that I thought of was one of our favorite games from Software was kind of demastered into Salt and Sanctuary, which is a 2D
Right.
Castlevania-ish
And was
game.
great.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a
And there
good
was
2D
also
platformer.
another cool like demaster that is out there that you could check out. Is there's a Breath of the Wild 2D online game that you can go get. That was actually like as far as I know, I think it was a like an internal game that they made to like test out systems for when later they would do it in 3D. But it looks like the original Legend of Zelda, but it's like Breath of the Wild mechanics.
That's weird.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look that up because that seems interesting to me.
I'll post it in the episode notes too.
Okay.
That being said, I thought that Ark. Do you guys know this game?
Yeah,
Ark?
with the
Yeah.
dinosaurs and stuff.
ARK is
Yeah.
like a survival game, kind of along the same lines of like a Rust, where you can like build cabins and houses and like slowly upgrade your technology, and then you have stuff. But in Ark, right, you can ride dinosaurs and shit. And I thought that game would make a really great like 2D remaster, top down. So like from the same point of view as those old action Indiana Jones games, where you would like go around the map and like whip things with your whip.
Yep. Yeah, I know exactly what type of games you're talking about.
So I thought that would be cool because you can still get like all of that idea of scale and all of that idea of like improvement in things, but it doesn't necessarily need to be this huge like 3D rendered world.
So it almost feels like Don't Starve.
Almost, yeah. It would
Kind
feel
of.
a lot like a
Kind
Don't
of.
Starve.
Okay. That's pretty neat.
Dan, what are you thinking about?
Well, I've been thinking about because I just played the Tomb Raider game and I was, working on the Uncharted games for a while.
Ooh, 2D Uncharted Tomb Raider stuff?
So, yeah. So what I was thinking is like it would be kind of like a Metroid-y sort of thing where it's still a puzzle platformer, but like all the stuff you do is based in like a 2D map world kind of stuff where you have to find like certain pieces of things, or like you go and explore like a tomb or ruins or something like that.
Yeah, and there's like
And
puzzles to solve.
Yeah, and like it might be even like I find myself kind of watching people play these recently, but those like hidden picture games.
Oh
That
yeah.
kind of stuff where like every once in a while you go and it's like, oh, move the tiles to get
Right.
into the right sort of thing, or like, oh, here's a lever puzzle.
Well, that's
and you have to-
that's what the old Indiana Jones games used to do.
Indiana Jones.
No, Indiana
Indiana
James.
James.
Indiana Jones.
That's his cousin.
Not the
Brother.
top-down Indiana Jones games.
He's not very
that
successful.
were like
Yeah, no, not at all.
God damn it.
He comes over for dinner. Just bitches about Jones.
He wasn't an archaeologist. Why can't I say that word? Archaeologist?
I
But-
say it.
But he builds sandcastles.
He does
No.
build sandcastles.
What I was gonna say is the old Indiana Jones games where you were looking at it like head on were really cool
Yeah.
point and click adventures like this where you kind of had to solve puzzles throughout.
Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't be. But it would still have the like the aspect of where you'd still have to do like climbing and jumping around, and so kind of imagine it's kind of like it has sections like that, but also it's like Prince of Persia, the original ones.
Nice.
Oh.
That's cool. I like
Yeah.
that.
Okay, cool. Cool.
So that's mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was thinking about some of the games that I used to really like back in the day, and kind of where they've evolved, and so I was thinking about Borderlands, but in kind of a Diablo. I mean, Borderlands takes a lot from Diablo. So what about like a isometric Borderlands that's also a bullet hell?
Like Crimson
Ooh.
World, Crimson World, Crimson Land, Crimson Land, but with
maybe,
but
but like there's also just like millions of guns. So like you tons of shit's flying across the screen all the time, but it's isometric, so it's kind of I don't know, or maybe
like
not
that.
top down.
So it's like
Isometric might be
a
difficult.
twin stick shooter kind of thing.
But-
So like
Yeah.
so you're like but you and 4 of your friends could do kind of like remember in Black Ops 2 there was like the zombies thing where you could do that.
Yeah.
Which would be that'd be pretty cool. I
Yeah,
love those
but like
games.
there would just be like a ton of weapon variety and item variety that would come with it as well. I think that'd be kind of cool.
That would be really cool. I like that idea.
I like that.
Will, what do you
Let's
got
go make it.
cooking over there?
I would want to take mine's weird. I had a hard time figuring this out. And then it just hit me. And I love the idea, but it's weird because I don't play a lot of Smash Bros. Like I like it. I'll play it. But I would love to have Smash Bros. Like rewind me back to the mid-90s and bring me Super Smash Brothers,
They still
but a la Streets of Rage style.
wait.
So-
Okay.
So you're just like I'm Kirby, Dan's Link, somebody's Princess Peach, and we're just rolling
Somebody's-
through the streets of Mario Town, just whipping ass as
So
we go
somebody
along.
kidnapped our girlfriends like in
Yeah.
River City
River City.
Rampage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Or again, somebody kidnapped Zelda again.
yeah, just a side-scrolling beat 'em up with Nintendo characters.
That'd be interesting because each one would have so like a beat 'em up like the other ones like the X-Men one, but
Like
because
X-Men,
everyone
yeah.
has
Yeah, exactly.
has their
and
own.
you can choose your character, and
Yeah,
That'd be a
kinda cool.
lot. That's something that you could do now because it would require like a lot of detail into each individual character,
I'd
but it
buy
would still
that.
have the same like I'd buy that too.
Someone stole Samus's ship. Someone stole Zelda. Someone stole Peach. Someone stole whatever Kirby likes.
It's
Stars.
just- it's a
Stars,
dragon.
yeah, someone-
It's a dragon sitting on top of it all, just really happy.
Oh, nice.
Allison. What's your demaster plan?
Okay, so I figure
Nice.
like this might actually
Strong.
end up in a conversation, but I don't like this, and
You
I pick nothing.
you
Because
would never demaster anything for
What?
any reason.
Yeah, I don't like this in the same
Why?
respect.
Why do you not like this?
Combaticus disapproves.
No. I mean, I think I love this topic, and I think it's going to build a conversation. So that's why I love that we're having it. But
How
I
is there a
absolutely
butt at the
wouldn't
end of
do it.
that sentence?
Dan, get the truth serum.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't like this in the same way that I don't like remasters.
Because it's this,
Because I think that a game was created the way it was created for a reason, and that's how it should be played. And so, although I will play remasters, I don't like remasters ever like I like an original.
so you're not going to play Final Fantasy VII when it comes out?
No, like I said, I'll play them.
Oh,
But
okay.
But
she's gonna hate
I'm
it.
already picking it apart, and I hate that about me. I really do. But I'm already like looking at the stuff that they're doing right now. I'm picking it the fuck apart.
You're
so
like
hard.
one of those people who listens to like Kind of Blue, the Miles Davis album, but you'll only listen to it on the original LP.
not exactly.
No,
but
it has the truest
a little bit.
sound.
Yeah, like I only use the real PlayStation where this fucking disc is scratched and it fucking stops every 2 seconds because that's
Like,
how it was meant to be played.
it's this thing of like I've had to do this with movies, and this is a problem for me, relating this to something else, comic book movies. I'm a huge hyper nerd, and I read these comics when I was little, and they have a special place for me, so I was very attached to them. And I would go to a movie, and I would walk out pissed, and I'd be like, fuck this, they messed everything up, I hate this is the worst. And then I realized I had to separate myself and kind of appreciate it for what it is, as long as they didn't change my core characters or like the values or the story enough that it was really troublesome. But in that same respect, it's like with Final Fantasy VII, since that's topical right now. I am a retro game console collector. So a lot of stuff like that, I want to play the old games because I love the old games. But then seeing it as this new thing, this new shiny thing, I'm like, oh man, Cloud's hair looks great. And then they messed up his hair in like later for me. And I'm like, it's not as great as it was originally. I don't know. Like I start picking it apart for these little things because I just have this really nostalgic bit for the old school version. And I feel the same way with this, where I can't deconstruct a game enough because I like the way it is.
Yeah, well, the question I was going to ask was, is there ever a point for you where it's so different from what it was on the original version that it becomes something new for you? Like that Final Fantasy game is going to be completely like different gameplay, different like, point of view.
Right. And so for me with that, it's like this Final Fantasy as a remake, I've just kind of had to separate myself and appreciate the remake for what it is. And that's what you're saying, is that it's very different. But they like, if they mess things up too much, I'm going to be upset. Like I saw an art for one of the summons and I was just like, this is gross. I don't know if I can get past this because it looks so weird. Because they're trying.
Is it Ifrit?
No, it's not Ifrit. I can't remember. It's the green one that looks kind of like a Pokemon with the long ears.
Bulbasaur.
Oh gosh, I can't remember his name. Sorry. No. But anyway, they made him look like this like weird high foreheaded cat. And it's just not a good look. And it bothers me to the point of like I'm starting to not like the game the more stuff releases. And I don't want to do that. I'm going to play the game. I'm trying to appreciate it, but I'm also just trying to shield myself now from anything that releases because it's going to make me not play it.
See, this is why I think that there shouldn't be like video game trailers or movie trailers or anything. I just want everyone to be surprised. I want you to go see it and just be surprised by how much you dislike it or like it. I think that would be fun. It's like a Kinder Egg.
Yeah, I need to go in blind for this stuff because realistically, like that's my problem is I start dismantling it before I even give it a chance. And I hate that. But that's just the way my brain's wired, I guess. And like with the new Spider-Man, like the Marvel Spider-Man, I don't like that Spider-Man. He's not my Spider-Man, but I've separated myself and decided this is just a whole different character. That's what I've had to do. So with this game, I feel like I'm going to have to do the same thing where I'm like, this is a different game.
That's a hot take. A lot of people like the Marvel Spider-Man.
I know, they love him. I'm very good at unpopular opinions.
It's okay. It's okay.
But thank you so much for this topic. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I think it's great. I think everything you guys said are wonderful ideas for games. And I would play them, but not necessarily as a demaster, just as its own game. I think they sound like really good ideas.
So I think what Allison is trying to say here is fuck your idea, Combaticus.
No!
Combaticus does not like.
That's Combaticus, that's what you sound like now. So I don't know what you actually sound like, but
it's all false. Don't believe anything they say.
Game Brew Facts.
Game Brew Facts.
Speaking
Game Brew Facts.
Excellent ideas. If you have an excellent idea of what your ideal demaster would be, let us know on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter at thegamebrew.com. We're going to take a break.
Or
when we come back,
an idea for a topic.
Yeah. Or yeah.
And tell Chris what arcade games he needs to play.
Yeah, and tell Chris what arcade games he needs to play. When we come back, we will be talking about games that never work. Stick with us. Hello, and welcome back to the second half of the Game Brew Podcast, episode 73. Chris, are there more beverages on tap for the second half?
I mean, I'm drinking the same thing, Heady Topper.
I have another one that I'm drinking.
I also have another one. Dan, talk to me about it. What is it? What is it? What's in that beautiful
it's
chalice
from-
you have in your hand?
It's from Winding Path Brewing Company, Pennsylvania brewer.
Winding Path.
Winding.
Ah, that's where you find Combaticus.
Yes.
But it's a peaches and cream India Pale Ale.
Okay.
It's
That's a lot of
citrusy
words.
hops, peach, and vanilla.
That is a lot of things that I don't expect together.
See,
How
and
is it?
You said peaches and cream, and I was like, oh man, I might really like this beer. And then you said IPA, and I was like, nah, I don't want diarrhea.
Wait, Will, what did you say?
You
The
said
first
peaches. You had me at
Peaches?
peaches and cream.
And what else?
Cream.
Are you a little
Peaches
lad?
and cream, peaches
Who loves-
and cream. I'm a little boy who loves peaches and cream.
What is going on?
I knew it was coming.
I'm a little boy who loves peaches and cream.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan.
No, but it's good. Hold on.
So is it more sweet or is it more IPA? Because if it's more sweet, I'll drink it. If it's more IPA, I'll not.
It's a little bit more IPA-y. I could definitely taste the citrusiness, and but the vanilla is very light, so it is not as vanilla-y as I thought it would be. But it's good. It's got on the nose. It's a little bit more peaches and creamy than how it actually tastes, but it's good. It's all right. It's good. It's all right.
Okay, so I don't know if any of you noticed, but I just took my first sip of this beer, and my brain exploded because
In a good way?
in a very surprised way. So I'm drinking St. Archer's Guava Goose, and this is listed on its labeling as an ale with natural flavors, which it seems to be. However, it also seems to be a sour, which they failed to mention on their packaging. So it's a guava sour. Not guava goose. Guava goes or goze. Gose.
So a goes. Yeah, gozes are definitely a little bit sourer. Sour-y. Sour-ear.
This is very sour. It's like drinking a Sour Patch Kid, which I guess if you want a beer that's a Sour Patch Kid, that's good. But it's not a lot of fizziness. I think it's more fizziness. It's flat.
Oh.
It's like a buzzy fizziness, not a stabby fizziness.
Okay.
Allison, how's
Anyway,
your
sorry.
alchemy coming along up there?
I'm on my second glass, and it's just as drinkable and dangerous as the first glass.
There you
So,
go.
Yay.
Just as drinkable
That's
and
how-
dangerous.
That's how I like.
Before
my
we go
Allisons. Drinkable.
Yingling does not really mix with peanut butter well.
Oh, it does not mix with peanut butter. Good.
No,
Oh.
not nearly as good as M&M's. Just letting everybody know.
That's sad.
Sorry.
So today, in the second half, we wanted to take a moment to access our inner creative geniuses and think about games that have never even been thought about. Games that are beyond conception. Games that have yet to be invented. That is, games that never were. So that is our topic for the second half. And I had a really fun time thinking about this, and I think I have some really great ideas. So can I start with one of mine?
Yes.
Please.
I guess.
Okay, Chris, you're gonna love this. All right, here we go. Chris, if you read the script yet, don't read the script.
I've read it, and I'm super excited, so please continue.
Okay, Chris, a deck battler / card collector that's an open world MMO. Fucking great,
So
right?
I was kind of thinking about this because I started watching for whatever. Oh, so I finished, and I don't know if this should count towards things I've finished, but I finished watching all the Indigo League on Netflix.
Nice. Pokemon.
So then I started watching Yu-Gi-Oh!
Nice.
And I was thinking
That's
to
what I was gonna
myself
say.
how I wish there
Such an
was
adult.
an open world
Yes.
RPG / battler game like that.
It would
Yeah,
be so
mean,
cool if
back
you
when
have
I
to go
was-
around like Duelist Kingdom and
Yeah.
compete in the tournament, and then you can get up to the higher levels of it. That's
yeah.
so cool.
Yep.
And loot would be new cards and buffs for your current cards, and you could spec into different classes and things so that your cards had different ability sets. Allison, what were you thinking?
Nice.
Well, when I read yours, it just reminded me when I was little and I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! And I got Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards and stuff. I made my brother like be in this like RP with me basically, and we pretended we were the characters. And My Valentine, May
Yep.
Valentine. What was her name in this show? May.
My Valentine.
My Valentine. Yep.
So I would be her, and he would pick his favorite, and like we would RP, we were them, and we would battle each other and stuff. And like I just think about that, and I'm like, I wanted this game when I was little. I would love the shit out of this. If it's like Pokemon,
Yeah,
it would be very easy to
But
make.
cards.
It would be kind
with
of cool
cards.
if you had like your duelist buddy was showing you. So the whole time you're kind of like Joey Wheeler the whole time.
Joey.
So it's I was like, wait a minute, Yugs, are you telling me that I can use my baby dragon to level up into an ancient dragon?
That would be the tutorial.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
and I just want it like as an MMO. I just want to be able to walk up to somebody and start talking, like
That would be
actual
awesome.
audio
That'd
for
be sweet.
this, because it would be amazing. Because I could just like
I
walk
mean-
up to somebody and be like, "Battle me," and just like
could do
I
that
don't
in
know.
real life.
I want it so bad.
I mean, we basically have that in I'm just going to take it. The Witcher 3 with Gwent.
Yeah,
but
kinda.
but it's not like you're collecting different cards, but I'm thinking like different classes for the card players. So like
Yeah.
it would be like blue magic cards would be like the mage class, or
Mhm.
like white would be like the priest class, and you kind of have like those same
Interesting.
sort of things, but like the spec within those card classes is just like the rotation of the deck you build. So the decks would be small. It would be like 18, 20 cards
or
per
like,
deck.
yeah.
or what if like the amount of cards that you had for a specific class gave you points to spend on a build. So
Like a
like you would
talent
have like if
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you
Like
had
a
a
skill
talent
tree.
tree,
Okay,
you had 20 cards
Yeah.
for the white tree, and you got like
Oh,
20
and then you
healing
could like
spell
white,
points.
blue, and like spec them both out.
yeah. So that would be like how you create your your combo class.
Oh,
or
that would be super
cross class.
Cool.
Okay, trademark
Cool.
TM the game group. You steal this
Can I
idea,
make
I will
this
come to your
game?
house and strangle you.
yeah. Can I make this game?
Is that
Do
how
I have
TMs
permission
work?
later?
No, that's how it works. It stands for strangling people. TM.
I'll totally give you credit when I make this game later in life.
That's awesome. Can I say one of mine?
Yeah.
So I really like sci-fi things. I like science fiction video games. And I also
Really?
Like Mass Effect.
I know. Yeah. Well, yeah. I like
Dan,
Mass
do you want a
Effect.
Mass Effect game that's just the romance scenes? Is that what you're gonna say? Is it
Absolutely.
A dating sim Mass Effect.
No, I've been on Pornhub. No, but because I really like that, but I also really like Blade Runner sort of futury sort of stuff that's a little bit dark and gritty, and I also really like noir style detective things. So
oh wow.
what
Please
I
go
really
where I think
want,
you're going with this.
what I really want is like a game, and I know Cyberpunk 2077 is coming.
I was about
out
to
soon.
say that's like basically that.
Well, but you know, that's
Well,
still like
that's
an
sort of,
action. That's
yeah.
still like an action game. What I'm looking for is more of a sort of mystery detective sort of game. So again, I've been doing a lot of like point and click adventure stuff recently that I've been watching people do, and like you have to solve puzzles and stuff like that. But I'm thinking more like a real like detective sort of game where it's like you go in and it's like, oh, there's been somebody who's murdered, but it's in like this new, like it's third person exploration, kind of like the Sherlock games. Have you played those?
No.
Yeah, a little bit.
But like
A little bit,
Tacoma
yeah.
kind of comes to mind a little bit.
Yeah, kind of, but it's like you have all of these abilities that let you like kind of investigate different things. So it's kind of an RPG, but you can like investigate and see is like, okay, so what happened here that like this person got murdered, and then you could follow clues. So it'd be like kind of open world, and you'd have to kind of find where all the different stuff would lead you to, or like different clubs, or like hopefully it would be in like this cyberpunk-y sort of city, or like this, but still with that kind of gritty sort of altered carbon.
Yeah, it
Blade
sort of
Runner.
sounds like yeah, LA Noir meets Blade Runner.
Yeah, kind of like that. There was a game called Snatcher that's a Kojima game that came out in like the 90s. That was a like point and click adventure game that where you had to do something similar, but I want something that's kind of like that. But I want to feel engrossed in the character. Like I want movement. I want the ability to kind of do all that. Maybe some quick time events.
Would you rather the character that you play as be more Harrison Ford or Ryan Gosling?
Definitely.
I feel like Harrison Ford is more like gritty.
I would rather it be like a mix of Harrison Ford.
Harrison Gosling.
Harrison Gosling.
The body of
That's
the
actually
body
just
of
a
Ryan
goose
Gosling
and-
with the voice of Harrison Ford.
I'm the sexiest man alive.
Why was that Sean Connery though?
No. Sean Connery talks like this.
Harrison Ford
Shrug,
talks a
shrug,
little
shrug,
bit more
guns.
like this.
I
I
also
don't
thought
sound
it would
like
be really
that.
interesting to do like a bridge simulator, but instead of like talking to other people, it could be single player, so that you would just talk to AI and you would say like,
So I thought you were talking about like bridges, like building
no,
bridges.
a bridge simulator. Like
So
the
you're
bridge of
talking
the
about a Star
Enterprise.
Trek bridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you're like, computer, set engines to such and such, bring shields up, like do like you have to like access it and talk to all these different systems and get them online and like explore. So the input was all your voice, but you moved the ship around like a 3D sort of like Elite Dangerous kind of universe.
So, is this a VR game? Because it sounds like a really good VR game.
It could be, or you could just have like one control to like toggle talking and another control to like look your head around or something. But it would
It's
be
like
amazing.
The control for the chair to like turn.
Yes.
You have to call it.
But I just think it would be really compelling to like talk through that and like not just to be able to give commands, but to ask questions. So to be like, can you scan the planet? Like, and then like, what does this tell us about the planet's like wildlife? You know what I mean? And have intelligent responses. So it would require a lot of AI programming.
So
So-
like, yeah, go
Building
ahead.
question.
Yeah.
Would you ever leave your deck, or would you send an army you've built out, or not an
Or
army,
like a
but your
research
crew?
team or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and,
Send some
and
red
after
shirts out
you've
there.
made the decision, you send out blank, blank, and blank, and hope they come back.
Yeah, it would be like
Kinda
that.
interesting.
Like you could definitely dispatch ground teams, and then you sort of like communicate with the ground team, right? So the ground team's down there, they're like, we're under heavy fire. Should we like take cover and wait it out, or should we
That's
try and flank
interesting.
them around? And you can sort of like,
So more of like a strategy game than anything else.
yeah, I guess it's just like
Almost tower defensey, but not really.
Or
It's
simulator-y.
interesting.
oh
It's
my
like a
gosh,
high
no,
risk-
it's none of these things. I'm either explaining
I
this
don't
very
know.
poorly
It's
or
all
not.
of them and none of them.
Right, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like it's none of those things, but it's got factors of all of them.
It's like a high risk, hey you Pikachu.
I don't know what Hey You Pikachu
Yes!
is, but okay.
No, that's perfect. That's the closest we've
What
gotten.
is
That's
Hey
what
You
this game is.
Pikachu?
It's a game for the Nintendo 64 where you tell Pikachu to do things.
Yes, it's a high risk that.
Yes,
Exactly.
that's what it is. Exactly.
Or like a Furby, except instead of a Furby, a spaceship.
It's not terrifying.
It's less terrifying than a Furby.
Yeah. Does anybody? What else do we got? Because I could do this for days.
I want a good gladiator action RPG.
What about
So-
Sure.
Rise?
There,
No, that's different.
an RPG.
Like, yeah, like Rise was you were playing.
Rise is
a,
not gladiator, nor is it an RPG.
but what do you
You're like
want?
a
So,
Roman soldier,
explain
I think.
this. Explain your ideal.
So this kind of came out of one of my favorite like go-to classic games that I thought no one knows about, but apparently everyone does. Gladius is an RPG that's gladiator based, but is not action. It's all quick time events, and it's really good. I really like it, but I wish that I could be in more control and now thinking about it, I kind of having some even like Souls-like combat in a gladiator arena and like controlling the equipment I'll use and maybe even doing side stuff in a city or something like that, like doing like some side things on the
like
just to get some extra money.
Yeah,
or
like-
being like
being shelled out for sex for one of those parties.
like that movie that show Spartacus.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I think obviously it wouldn't be super accurate because that's not how it really worked. But I think it'd be really cool to like have your rise through the ranks of gladiator combat while also doing the side jobs and having control of the equipment you use
And like
that sort
starting
of
at like a
thing. That'd be
shitty little stadium and working your way up to like the gladiator
Yeah,
World
yeah.
Cup.
cool. Yeah,
That's interesting.
I want that.
But you want it to be an RPG.
but yeah, because I want to have builds.
Oh, I see. You want to have like an RPG skill system you're not necessarily super invested in like the world building and like a huge.
Yeah, I want an RPG. When I say RPG, I'm talking about like skill system.
Got it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's an
Me
interesting
digs.
idea.
You know what would make it better? Put it in the future.
Put it in the
Future
Sci-fi.
gladiators.
space swords instead of regular swords.
Yes.
Or even a fantasy setting,
Ooh, that would be cool too.
That would be kind of cool.
and there would be magic,
Yes.
And then
and you could have to fight dragons and stuff.
But doesn't that get away from the core gladiator idea?
And
That's
But
true.
if
like
it's
that.
in an
Man versus
arena,
man.
that's
I like
the-
that broken down thing. I just don't think we see that enough.
You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I can take this a step further. I want to see. You want to see me get on board with VR? I want to see LARPing meets VR. I want to see a massive amount of people down at the local park wearing VR headsets actually casting magic missile.
Wait. So
That's
man.
what I want.
I'm
Hold
in for
on.
that.
wait. So you're saying that they would still have to go to a local area to?
They
so
would
we'd
still have to go to the
why
local
would they put
area.
the goggles on? Why wouldn't they just
So,
do
So
that?
we could-
so
we could
I guess
blindly
it's
run
less
into each other.
VR
This
and
is great.
more AR.
So yeah, more augmented reality.
Yes, but I want to be able to sit over on the side so we can make an esport out of it. Like, I'm not shitting you about this. I want to sit over on the side and put my VR goggles or AR goggles or whatever on, and I want to watch. I want to
is like-
see the magic missile.
This is modern laser tag. If you built a building
Yeah.
for this, I think there's something to be sold.
Have some
yeah,
commentators.
or like you could even do like a whole like block out a city block and load up the Walking Dead, AR game and just bring a bunch of people in. Like, this is what I want to see.
The Walking Dead would be a good AR.
Yeah.
game.
There's
that
like
would be amazing.
there's a running app that's called like the Running
TM,
Dead.
trademark
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
make a building.
TM, we'll strangle you. There's like a Running Dead thing where it's like it gives you running routes based on like, oh, there's more zombies over
Yeah.
here, so you have to run
Yeah,
away
it's
from
called.
the
It's
zombies.
literally called Run Zombies.
Oh, fucking love that.
That's to the point.
You know what else I've been kind of thinking about too, playing more arcade games.
Yeah.
I wish there was more arcade games that had RPG elements like the skills and leveling up and stuff like that.
Oh, like
But it was
Gauntlet kind of
it was
thing?
kind of say that again.
like Gauntlet sort of.
Kind of like Gauntlet, but then there was more control over how you made your build. Kind of like with League, where you can kind of get different items and choose different things. So each run could be different in the game for replayability, but also you could kind of min-max a little bit. I don't know if there's an arcade game like that already, but if there is, please let me know.
There's something that I'll show you on Steam.
But I want it to be an arcade game is the thing.
Oh, right, okay.
But I mean, I'll see what it is.
But I guess I'll look at it.
Allison,
So
yeah.
mine
Like basically, I want Dead Cells, but on an arcade.
Yeah.
Mine is so I'm always searching for a new MMO. And I want like something perfect, and I want something that felt like WoW used to feel for me. But not WoW, because now I hate WoW.
I can tell
So-
that your relationship with WoW is complicated.
It's very abusive. So I absolutely play like so many MMOs, just looking for something to play with friends, and like I like that sense of community. And I've always wanted what I thought ArcAge was going to be and ended up not being, which is a game where there are two very clear division groups. So kind of like WoW with Horde and Alliance.
Right.
But instead of Horde and Alliance, it's just like regular people and then thieves. So I don't know. I haven't fleshed it out fully. That's the kind of problem that I've had. So I thought this was going to be ArcAge because you could be a pirate, which I think is a
Right.
very easy way to translate this.
Yeah.
You're a pirate, you steal things. But I think there's a lot that comes with that because games have failed trying to make pirates work because you have sea battles, you have the water aspect and all of that. So taking all of that out and just having maybe something that kind of feels like thieving and stuff does in other stealth games and making that like a group of people who have to steal things together, and then the other people are just kind of like normal everyday people who are generating money maybe with businesses or
They're like merchants that the thieves are stealing from.
right, merchants, or maybe even they're the wealthy. And
I was gonna say
they-
like it could be the wealthy people are trying to build like a corporate
Right.
infrastructure, but maybe the thieves are again, I'm
are
thinking
breaking things down and taking
yeah.
the money.
I'm
Wait,
thinking
wait.
like
So this is
future.
like Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump?
Well, we don't
No.
get political here, but it's more of a I think it's more of a like corporate America versus like a down with the 1%ers sort of.
Right. So
Like-
so
Yeah.
making it like a very one side of the game is going to be very like group oriented. Like you either are a team of thieves and it's like a guild of thieves, or maybe something like that, and you have to work together, because if you're caught, then you lose a lot of money on bailing out your friends. So that's how the balance comes into play. The thieves can steal, but the people on the other side have to have a way to have them be caught, and then the money that they stole would be used for bail, and you have to use it out of the guild funds. Like,
Or like
I think there's a
upgrading your
way.
equipment or buying new
Right, for
ways
sure.
of getting into the
Like, money-
infrastructure.
Money is everything in the game. So the wealthy kind of have an advantage in PvP out of the gate, because they start with more, but the thieves can earn more if they work hard. Is kind of my idea. And so the PvP aspect would be really important in this game. If somebody sees you stealing, they could just fight you. And if you die, then they get to loot you. That's kind of the idea I have, very simply.
I'm getting kind of Watch Dogs vibes from that, where it's like
Yeah, but like an MMO. Yeah, that
like
kind of
like
vibe.
there's like you're either a watchdog or you're the elite.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Interesting. Chris, what did you want to jump in for?
That reminded me of a game that I really liked when I was a kid called Sid Meier's Pirates.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And I always wished in that game that I really enjoyed the arcadey ship battles.
Yeah.
So I think I would want something a little less arcadey, but still pretty arcadey compared to like normal ship battles. But like more of an upgrade tree with I really like skill trees.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I really like
Chris loves
I really like
skill
loot.
trees.
I love skill trees and
Skill
loot.
trees, the game.
So like just like expanding on like starting with a shit boat and then building up to like getting this massive great boat with like combat that's not too difficult but like still has a little bit of depth, and you have to pay attention to wind direction and stuff like that, and kind of like how you have to with Sea of Thieves, but like more of a third person perspective.
Okay,
That's interesting.
that could be neat.
What would you guys think about this? You guys know the game Quap? So a multiplayer.
No, I don't.
Okay, so Quap is a game where your goal is literally like to make a man walk, or like it's like sprint like 3 paces. Like it's an online flash game that's meant to just be stupid. Go look it up now. Okay, Quap.
I am.
So
QWOP.
QWOP.
Oh my God.
It's like the dumbest thing that's ever happened. It's like
Oh, because those are the buttons that you
the
use to
controls
make it run.
don't make any sense. You use QWO and P to make a man move his legs to try to make him walk, but it always like makes him do some stupid flip or something, but not actually walk. So that, except it's like 5-player multiplayer, and everybody controls their own part of like a Power Rangers Zord. So we're like trying to like fight a
yeah.
kaiju,
Sweet.
Cool.
but everybody only controls like the left arm or the right leg.
That'd be
That's
so
Wow.
fun. That
So
would be
you're
so
like,
hard.
Yeah.
so if you're one of the legs, you're like, step forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, so you
Or
have
like,
to like
kick.
But
jet
you would be
boots.
using like a joystick and triggers to like make the foot and the toes move.
Ooh, and then like the 2 feet would both be like a 3, 2, 1, jet
And then you
boots.
can jump, yeah.
So like,
You could do,
So
or
here's
you could
the
do like
thing.
a jump, bicycle kick.
Yeah, if you were really
I
good.
feel like this is the fastest way to lose friends, and
Yeah.
beats Monopoly pretty hard.
Yeah, it would be a really good party game for sure.
I don't think so. I think I get real mad.
this would be a great mag. This is the best Magfest game ever.
Oh man.
So that's a thing that should be a thing.
Will, do you have one?
Yeah, I had one.
Oh, you did? Do you have? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
I had
Oh,
one. I
that's
don't
right.
have
Yeah, yeah,
another
sorry.
one to add. No,
Okay, sorry.
I just want chaos at the local park.
I was also thinking of a game with the sort of same scale of Shadow of Colossus. You're like a kind of a small dude, but you know how the bosses in that are real big and you have to like climb them and fight them?
Yeah.
So instead of climbing and
I'm
fight them,
aware of that. Yes.
you're like climbing in them and they're mechs, and then you have to like steer the mech around.
So Titanfall.
No, not Titanfall. Like the scale is just really different than it is in. It's almost the idea is actually a lot more like an Attack on Titan game than it is like a Titanfall kind of game.
Well, I liked the one that you were saying before, because you told me about that one before we started recording the episode. The kaiju fighter one. That's a little bit more.
Or the kaiju fighter where you can like, okay, so there is a kaiju and it's your job to save the world from the kaiju, but you're doing it in a like you're in like a fighter jet or a tank or a helicopter or something like that, and you sort of have to like shoot certain points of it and like fly around it in certain ways or else it smacks you. I thought that would be really
that's a little bit more Shadow of the Colossus-y, because you got to find you'd have to find like weak points on it, and there's like multiple different ways to go about it, but you and four of your closest friends can run around, just be like, all right, shoot it in the butthole, shoot it in the butthole from the tanks, and then I'm gonna knock it down.
Right, it's kind of like Monster Hunter, but in planes and tanks and helicopters.
Nice.
It kind of reminds me of Aero Fighter's Assault.
Is that a
on
thing
N64.
already?
Oh yeah, I forgot that was a game. That's interesting.
It was basically a game where you were a pilot and you could choose a different pilot, and you had to fight these massive. It was like in those bullet hell or like I guess bullet hell games where like 1941 or 1945 or whatever, where you like upgrade your ship and your ship and it's like flying across the screen.
Right.
It's like that but 3D.
Nice. Okay. So kind of similar.
Yeah, kind of like that, but with kaiju.
Sweet.
Well, good ideas.
Yeah.
Ian has the most ideas.
Well, I'm glad we put all these really great game ideas out for everyone to hear.
Yeah,
so
TM.
that,
TM all these ideas.
TM.
We will choke you out.
Allison is going to make them all, so stop.
So those are going to be our games, and I think that's going to be a wrap for the episode this week. Big thanks go out to Capone for this question, and if you want to let us know what games you want to see demastered on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, let us know at the Game Brew, and you can also come tell us your wildest ideas over on our Discord at bit.ly/discobrew.
or if you think our ideas are stupid, you should let us know.
Tell us too.
Except for my ideas, because they're already great, and I will be sad if you
Womp.
Womp. And I think that's going to be it for us. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Buenas noches.